Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are live for RRF1 Monday Division as they get ready to take on the fearsome Suzuka circuit here in Japan. One of the best drivers' tracks on the calendar and always provides entertaining action and usually a bit of rain along the way. Once we get trackside, you will probably notice there are 0 real teams tonight. Codemasters have done what Codemasters do best. They have brought an update and ruined the game. Absolutely destroyed it. So equal cars are not equal. People's driving settings and wheel settings and button settings have been reset. I mean, what is the point in Codemasters? Seriously. I mean, I'm glad I'm commentating tonight and not racing. I'll put it that way. Because I've had to reset settings, reset setups before, all because they bring an update and they can't actually do an update. But anyway, let's enjoy what we've got. We've got 15 drivers here to take on Suzuka. Q1, it is full qualifying, so Q1 will just be people getting a little lap in and retiring, I imagine. And then Q2 is where the real business begins. While waiting, we'll have a quick look at the standings. Obviously, it was Mexico last week. I was away last week, unfortunately, with work. But nonetheless, as you can see in the standings, we do have what appears to be a 2 or 3 horse race for the championship. Sergeant Kamarov just dropping off a little bit, but he is not racing tonight. So you have Bacon Soda and the Dark Mark battling it out at the top, separated by just 19 points. Bacon Soda is racing tonight, as is the Dark Mark. So we do have our 2 title protagonists here around Suzuka. Kamarov not racing, and Master Spread, as far as I'm aware, is no longer part of RF1, or is no longer driving on Mondays anyway. Ewan still in 5th. He came 6th last time out in Mexico. Ahead of Atkins, who gained a couple of points on him. TSD Apex currently in 7th in the championship, ahead of Scott. And Hambo had a ban last week, naughty boy. He, I believe, was supposed to be racing tonight, but he's not showing on the leaderboard. In the constructor standings, McLaren have taken a huge leap ahead. They currently have a 29-point advantage ahead of the chasing pack, with Alpine, Williams, Haas and Aston Martin all giving chase, with the likes of Red Bull and Mercedes not too far behind either. A couple of cars coming out on track now, so let's have a quick look at what people's designs are. Are we going to have any Williamses or McLarens taking on the circuit? That is a lovely, colourful car from Mr. RRF1. We'll give him that. That's rather tasty. We've got Revokes on track as well. Let's have a look at his car. What's he got? Nice little black number there. Dystopian is in... Ooh, that's a fetching livery, isn't it? As Ewan has now joined to make it 16 drivers. Who else is on track? So Betches is on track. He is in the Williams. So he's in the anniversary Williams with the Union Jack. Very good looking car. Whitey, he is in... Ooh, is that a purpley bluey thingy? And then you got Ransdal in what appears to be blue and chrome. While Big Perry is in the tricolour McLaren. Of course, in reference to the Triple Crown that they released. But let's get some information here, as Raratron is about to take us away on a lap here of Suzuka as you hurtle towards turn 1. Carry as much speed as you can, try to run wide, hug the right hand side, but stay away from the curb because it will spin you round. And oh, and a car there stopped on the apex. Who was that? That would have been a little bit off-putting, you imagine. It was Scott who has been disqualified from the session for parking in a dangerous location. I have to agree with the stewards there. That was a rather dangerous location. So Scott has been disqualified. He will start from P15 or P16 if you manages to get in a car. Yeah, a little bit of squeaky bum time there, Clem. So back to Rara's lap in his very, very bold Formula 1 world car. I just noticed on his helmet, oh, and wide he goes, but he manages to not invalidate, very nearly lost it. I just noticed, does his helmet say Ferrari on it? He's got a Ferrari helmet. That's rather cool. So then, we've gone through 130R, foot flat to the floor. Final chicane to navigate then for Raratron. What can he manage as he's going to come across the line? Dystopian did a 128.7 to start us off with. Raratron comes across the line. He had a big moment at Spoon, but he does a 131.0. I'm going to start learning whose car's who. So Revokes is coming across the line next in the black machine with a 28.2 to go fastest so far. I think we have Betches next. We do indeed, a 129.3 for Betches. And we have what I believe is the Triple Crown Big Perry. Around 130R he goes. Just the final chicane to navigate. I think Whitey's coming along behind him as well. Across the line, what can he manage? It is a 129.5 to go P4. Whitey's coming across the line next, and he puts it P5 with a 130.6. Followed by Ransdell goes second on soft tires with 120.3. I've only just noticed as well, that time from Revokes, he's done that 28.2 on medium tyres. Medium tyres. Apex just starting a lap, as is, yeah, it looks a bit damp, doesn't it? Let's go on board. Oh, look at the spray. Horrific. Intermediate tyres then for Danny. That's probably going to be, I mean, he just needs to get himself through because Scott got himself disqualified. So unless one more car joins, he's safe. So coming across the line next then. So Rarasan's just done another lap. He's just doing laps to get used to the track, I imagine. Who else is on a lap? Mr. Apex. Let's go on board with Mr. Apex. That is a bright green car, that, isn't it? That hurts my eyes a little bit. Into the hairpin. Easy to lose the rear on the exit here. Let's see how he manages it. Keeps it nice and straight. Now coming up to the tricky spoon curve. Easy to lose the rear. Easy to run wide. And easy to absolutely kill yourself if you hit that curb on the inside. Runs out. Whoa! Runs it really wide, but doesn't invalidate. I don't think the stewards are watching this. As the McLaren gets out of the way. The fake McLaren. I think there's two McLarens on the grid. Into the final chicane comes Mr. Apex. Revokes retires from the session. Happy what he's done. I'm not surprised with a 28.2 on medium tyres. Across the line goes Apex. He's the 131.0. We do have is it Bacon Soda coming across the line. So Bacon Soda's just started. Let's go on board with Bacon Soda. He is the championship leader. Does feel very much sort of pace versus consistency at the moment. Dark won't mind me saying that, so we all know how fast Bacon Soda is, but he does have an error in him, whereas Dark Mark probably doesn't have the pace Bacon Soda has, but does seem to find his way more, working his way towards the front as the race goes on, just staying consistent, keeping out of trouble, and that so far has gained him P2 in the championship. Looking good so far for Bacon Soda as he heads towards Spoon Curve now then. Runs it right out to the curb but keeps it in bounds. Looking good so far for Bacon Soda. This is looking like a good solid lap to start himself off here in Q1. Purple sector 2 there for Bacon. Watkins as he comes across the line. 20.2, the fastest so far on medium tyres from Revokes. Bacon said will be looking to beat that on the soft compound of tyres. And he comes across the line to do a 1 minute 27.4, 7.5 tenths clear of Revokes. Evening, Tom. How you doing? Hope you're good, my man. I wonder what the I'm actually wondering what the delta is between the soft and the medium, because it does look like Revokes is not a million miles off Bacon Soda's pace there, considering the tyre difference. So, who have we got on a lap? I think it is our current second place man in his Alpine-inspired livery. Looks like a matte blue with maybe like a chrome pink. We'll find that more on the catwalk than a Formula 1 car, that design. 129.0 for the Dark Mark, put himself P6 overall so far. Good start there for the Dark Mark, just to get himself a lap in Q1. We've got Ewan next. He is in the Williams, so we have 2 Williamses and 2 McLarens. The rest are all of your own design. So for those that are just joining, as I mentioned before, so why is there a little white blob on the bottom left-hand corner of my stream? That is... Oh, it's the top of the logo of the F1 bit from the stream. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, so for those that are just joining, they are in multiplayer cars because Codemasters have screwed the game even more than they already have. So they brought out an update, and of course the pretty equal cars are now not equal. So yeah, so they're in multiplayer cars. They're in the F1 World cars, should I say now. Danny, by the way, did a 132.3 on his intermediate run. So Ewan can manage as he's just not happy with his lap there, I imagine. So he's just warming up his tyres. He has got a car coming behind. He's going to come across the line. What's he going to manage? He's got full ERS, so I think he was going for a second lap there. 137.8 for Ewan. Across the line. Also, we've got Hambo in as well. So that makes it a bit more interesting, because Danny, who's on the intermediates, is not guaranteed to get through to Q2 now, because Hambo has managed to get in. So if Hambo can get out and get a lap in, then it's all to play for. Ewan will want to improve now. We've got Ollie on a lap as well. He's just started a lap though. Raratron still making his way around. It's a gorgeous looking car, isn't it? It's really striking. It's like a rainbow. It's a positive rainbow from Mr. Raratron. Let's go on board. Oh, went on board at the wrong time and he's just run wide. I don't think the stewards are watching track limits around Spoon. I think you can just drive where you want. 11 people so far watching the stream, so thank you all for tuning in on this fine Monday evening for RRF1 as they take on one of my favourite tracks, Suzuka. Oh, and he's just run a little bit deep there. He has been on these tyres since the start of qualifying, just doing laps, getting himself used to it, and he crosses the line to do a 32.3 this time round. Ewan, meanwhile, is 4.9 seconds up on his current time, so this is going to be a major improvement for Ewan. And it is a 29.2 to go P7 overall, just behind the Dark Mark. Who else have we got on a lap? We've got Ollie and Atkins. Ollie is further around, so we'll go with Ollie Champ in his... That's a fine looking car, that, isn't it? That's like almost like a sky-coloured, greeny, bluey thing with some blacky thingy bits. Yeah, nice looking car from Ollie Champ. Good effort there, sir. Across the line, 28.9 for Ollie Champ, goes P6 overall. Atkins, meanwhile, runs it right out to the curb there. Evening, Axel. Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the Monday night stream here at RRF1. Again, as I've mentioned before, everyone is in F1 World Cars because Codemasters ruined the game. So we can't use equal cars anymore until they fix the fix that they tried to fix by not fixing it. Anywho, across the line goes Atkins, and he goes P11 overall so far. Do have Hambo out on lap. He's gone on to the medium tyre, so this will be a good comparison to see how he gets on compared to Revokes, as Revokes did his time on the mediums as well. How close can Hambo get to the top? We have a yellow flag. That is a fake McLaren getting out of the way. 17 drivers will take part in this race then, so almost a full grid, so great effort, guys. Runs it out wide to the curb there. You want to be careful running out too far because you could beach the middle of your car and it just scrubs off some of your speed. Nice line through the hairpin for Hambo, keeps it all, everything pointing in the right direction. Round spoon he goes. Looking solid so far for Hambo. Go on board then with Hambo as he comes up to the final part, the fast 130. Oh, we've seen some incredible moves both in real life. Sorry, incredible moves both in real life and in the virtual world. Cuts the inside of the chicane, cutting as much as he can to try and get as much for benefit round this tough Suzuka track, and it's going to be a 128.5 for Hambo to put himself P5 overall on the medium tyres, just a few tenths off the only other medium runner. We do have Danny now on a lap, so he has come out and gone onto the soft tyres as I thought he would, because he is now in danger of going out of qualifying. Purple sector 1 though for Danny. We know how quick Danny is. A couple of race wins under his belt already since he's joined RRF1, including a couple of stellar recovery drives. The German maestro is going to see if he can do what the great Michael Schumacher did around here and claim victory. Round spoon comes Danny then. Can he get that car out of the bottom 1, if you will, the bottom 2? Obviously Scott won't take part in Q2 because he got disqualified. But we'll see if Danny can do it. He just needs to avoid an invalidation here because he is 4.2 seconds up, so he's easily through to Q2 at the moment. He just needs to keep it intact in the final few corners. Through the chicane he goes. Final corner. Hug it tight to the right-hand side and across the line. Danny does a 1 minute 27.2, and that is the fastest time we've had so far from Danny. So he makes sure he is through. Raratron is now the man in danger, currently on a 30.7, sitting in the pits. As it stands, he will not be taking part in Q2. I missed Ali Fawad Khan's lap as well, so I apologise, Ali. He did a 28.3 to get himself into 4th place. He's on an out lap to try again. I would say you probably don't need to do that unless you're just practicing. Let's have a look. So he's on. Oh, he's on his 2-lap-old tyres, so he's on the same tyres he did before. So he's just, yeah, he's just getting some laps in. So Raratron is coming out. We've got a whole host of cars coming out. I imagine because the track is ramping up and the track improvement, a few of these guys might be a bit nervous, especially in the sort of Ewan down. I would imagine if you've, I mean, maybe even Dark Mark could be in a bit of trouble here. He's retired from the pits already on a 29.0. Raratron's only, well, he's 1.7 seconds off that, but he was doing that with plenty of fuel on board. There are some guys down there that could make Dark Mark sweat a little bit here. But we'll see of these guys who's on lap. So we've got TSD Apex currently on a lap. We'll see what he can manage, although he's completely out of ERS. So I imagine he's just doing a few laps here. Ewan is starting a lap now. So let's see what Ewan can manage in the Williams. The Williams Racing... I've got to say, the Williams in Singapore looks quite nice, but it's not even close to how good the McLaren Gulf car looked at Monaco a couple of years ago. When you had Lando and Ricciardo driving in it. I mean, that was... how I wish that was the actual livery for that season. It was just such a good looking car. But it was still a nice car from the Williams. Just a shame that Albon got yeeted by Perez and Sargent got yeeted by Ericsson. Sorry, he put himself in the wall. That has to be one of the longest running jokes currently in Formula 1 when you say Ericsson hit me. The Grosjean, the funny Ericsson hit us. Was it Grosjean or was it Magnussen? I can't remember, but Ericsson hit somebody when he actually was nowhere near him. 6 tenths up then for Ewan. Purple in Sector 2. What can he do to get himself further up the field and put pressure on those around him that have opted to retire? In fact, we've got some finishes behind Ewan, so you are all safe. Rara is the one that needs to try and get himself out. Ewan gets himself P4 with a 28.3. Great lap there from Ewan at the end. Let's have a look to see. Let's stay with Rara then. He is down on his time for the first sector, though. He needs to find some time in the middle sector if he's going to get himself out of Q1. Big gap at the moment from between 15th and 16th. We know that Rara has some good pace. He usually is pretty consistent in the race and gets himself some good points. Just needs to work on that quali pace. He is now he's half a second up, so he has gained it back in the middle sector. So maybe a mistake in sector 1, but he's gained it all back in the middle sector. What can he do in the final sector? Fresh tyres, less fuel. Round the corner he comes, across the line. Raratron does a 29.935. He decided to stay left, he went across the line. He's missed out on a place in Q2 by 0.08 of a second. So Whitey can breathe a sigh of relief. Betcher's currently on a slow lap. He's invalidated. Big Perry is 1.5 seconds down, so he is giving up on that one. So that is it for Q1. So Scott disqualified after he parked his car on the apex of the S's in Sector 1, which is probably not the best thing to do. So he will miss out on Q2 and Q3. Rara, who looks like he may have made a mistake in Sector 1, tried to pull it back and so nearly did in the final 2 sectors, but misses out by, as I said before, by 0.08 of a second. But to Whitey, who hangs on by the skin of his teeth, as does Atkins. Just 0.2 of a second separating those 3 drivers at the end of Q1. So, quick rundown then from the early pace setters. Obviously, we'll see some real pace now from the guys that may have not been pushing, or from some that went out on mediums for Q2 to make sure they get themselves into the top 10 shootout. Danny then fastest with a 127.2, 0.2 clear of Bacon Soda. Revox did his time on the medium tyres. He was third fastest ahead of Ewan on the soft. Ali comes in 5th ahead of Ransdal. Hambo gets through in 7th ahead of Dystopian. Olichamp, Big Perry, Dark Mark, TSD Apex, Betchers, Atkins, Whitey, and then from Q1 we lose Raratron and Scott. I've just seen there as well. So Whitey has a 5-place grid drop. So Whitey will actually start. This is where I don't quite understand it. Will he start from 16th because Scott got disqualified, or will he start from 17th behind Scott? I'm not really 100% sure on that. But yeah, cracking Q1 to start us off with. We head back trackside and wait then for the drivers to begin their Q2 onslaught. As I mentioned at the start, one of my favourite tracks on the calendar, Boulogne, welcome. Hope your race this evening, I'm guessing your race this evening isn't going well, or you haven't got a spot because you're in the chat. But yeah, cracking drive from you last night, Boulogne, absolutely stellar. I mean, start to finish, you were untouchable around Austria, so well done, sir. He got the 5-place grid penalty because someone stopped in the middle of the track. Oh, I'm guessing that was the car that stopped in the middle of the S's. Ah, that is so unfortunate. Right, okay. That makes more sense. Mr. Platypus, evening. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Who is our first person on the track? It is a white car. So I'm trying to learn who everyone is. For those that are just joining the stream, I've mentioned it a couple of times. So where have you been? So, Codemasters have released an update to fix some problems with the game and to make it a bit smoother, make it so the cars are really equal, and they did the opposite. They've broken it. They have ruined it. The cars are not equal anymore. That you can tell a difference between the cars. Some drivers had to reset their settings. Some of their camera settings have gone. I mean, someone at Codemasters had one job, and that was make the cars equal and fix a couple of bugs. And instead, someone's just pressed the button and gone, feck it. Let's screw everyone over and let's force them into the F1 World Car. So that's what RRF1 has done tonight. Everyone is in their own creation. Although a few guys are using the tribute liveries for Williams and McLaren. But most are in their own creations tonight. Which is nice to see people's spirit on the car, if you will. But here comes Ali. He's going to be our first man to set a lap. So we'll go on board with a hot lap of Ali Fawad Khan, 1991, in his orange mobile. Round turn one he comes in as we head towards the S's. Just misses the second apex there, but it's not too bad. He keeps the speed. It's all about momentum through this first sector. You've got to keep that momentum, keep that speed going as you head through Dunlop without losing the rear end. Looking pretty solid so far. His car looks to be in one piece still, which is always a nice sign. Good stuff so far from Ali. Sorry, just checking my phone there for a second. Very unprofessional of me. So yeah, Ali then heading now on this long, fast right-hand curve as you head up and then back down towards Spoon. It's looking solid so far from Ali. Runs out towards the curve. This is looking really good to start us off with here. Behind him on track, I believe, is Atkins and then the bright green machine of Apex. Round 130R comes Ali. Final chicane and then the right-hander afterwards to navigate. Not quite as much curve as we've seen a couple people take, but he'll keep to the right-hand side now for the shortest route to the line. And it's a 129.7 to start us off with. Next we have Atkins coming across the line, who does a 128.7 to go fastest. And then I think it was Apex, wasn't it? So Apex comes across the line. He does a 29.9, followed by, we've got cars jumping all over the place here. I think we've got Ollie Champ coming across the line with a 127.6 to take the fastest time so far. Atkins was P2, Betchers went P6, as Whitey on the medium tyres does a 29.7 for his first banker lap, followed by Hambo on the mediums again does a 28.5. We've got, I think, Big Perry coming through next in the Triple Crown McLaren and does a 29.9. In the background there, we have one of the Williamses. I think that is who's just starting up, actually. Revokes does a 27.6. Then, so he goes fastest so far, ahead of Ollie Champ by 0.05 of a second. Dystopian now coming through. What can he manage? It's everyone's first run in Q2. I imagine quite a few of these guys will be running on their Q1 tyres, and Dystopian bails out of that one. Not happy with how that one was going. Danny, meanwhile, is coming through the chicane. He's on an out lap. Who else have we got coming up? We've got Ali, who's on an in lap. So I believe it'll either be Danny or Ewan. So Ewan, and then we'll go to Danny. So 10 guys so far already have set laps. 130.3 is the current cutoff, but I imagine that will improve somewhat. Round Spoon goes Ewan in his tribute Williams. Union Jack emblazoned on the side of the car. It is a very nice looking Williams. I do like that car. Purple Sector 2 for Ewan. It feels like everybody gets that Purple Sector 2. It's just a gimme from the game. Round the final corner he comes then across the line, and he goes across on a 29.4 to go 6th overall so far. See what Danny can manage so far. Can he challenge Revokes and Ollie Champ at the top? I think we saw a 27.2, if I'm not mistaken, in Q1, so there's definitely some more pace to come. So across the line, Danny, can he manage? It is a 27.2 again, so there we go, 4/10 clear of Revokes. We have Bacon Soda and Dystopian on outlaps. Ewan is on an in lap, so who's going to be our first man around? It will be Dystopian. Ah, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, so fun fact of the day, as sponsored by the Dark Mark. It's only known as a Union Jack when it's on the side of a ship. Otherwise, it's technically known as a Union flag. There we go. Every day, as they say, is a school day. There we go. Who says gaming is a waste of time? I've just learned something. Everyone has just learned something now. Oh, was that widely known? Okay, just me. I had no idea that was the thing. So Dystopian then about to start his flying lap around Suzuka. We'll go on board with Dystopian, very quick driver of course. Lovely bright pinky purple helmet design there. Probably shouldn't say lovely pink helmet there. No, that's the wrong thing to say. Anywho, back to Dystopian's pink helmet. I mean back to his car. Through the S's goes Dystopian. Kept that speed nicely through the S's there. Come to Dunlop. Does he keep it tight to the left hand side? He does. No lift at all. Plenty of confidence in his Dystopian mobile. With the double right-handers there. This is looking good from Dystopian. Gets on the power nice and early. Nice hairpin there. Runs it wide, but then takes a almost like a triangle as he cuts off the hairpin. We yet to see the Dark Mark make an appearance in Q2, so he'll be going for what I imagine is just the one run. Save a set for the all-important Q3. So here comes Dystopian through the mighty 130R. Lots of pickup on his tyres. Clearly run over a bit of marbles, as they say, if that's still a thing in Formula 1. Final couple of corners then, round the final corner, keeps it to the right hand side, across the line is a 28.7 to put himself into P6 and to knock out Apex currently, who's in trouble. Bacon Soda, meanwhile, he's going to come across the line and does a 28.5 to put himself 5th overall. He'll be looking to improve on that on his next run. Who else have we got on lap? So Hambo is currently purple through Sector 1. Almost half a second up, absolutely flying. Quite a few drivers on track. Ali Fawad Khan has just gone through with a 28.0. Knocks Hambo down to 5th spot. But the lap that Hambo's on at the moment, you'd imagine he's going to improve by quite a big chunk. His first lap for Hambo was on his... his one lap old mediums, or a couple of lap old mediums from Q1. You'd expect quite a big improvement here. He's on a 28.5, needs to find over a second if he's going to start challenging the likes of Danny. He's on target for quite a big improvement here, is Hambo. Round he goes, keeps it towards the right hand side. It's going to be a 1 minute 27.2, and it's the exact same time as Danny at 27.217. Brilliant stuff there from Hambo. Dystopian is down on his time, but I imagine he will be coming into the pits, and yes, he is. Apex then is coming across the next. He is currently 6/10 up, needs to find a good chunk of time to get himself safely into the top 10 shootout. Across the line comes Apex. What can he manage? It's going to be a 28.9. Get himself P9 overall. That may not be safe. We've got a couple of the McLarens going through. Bacon Soda, it's in the pits. Big Perry coming across the line now. What can he manage? Currently in 13th spot. Needs to find a big improvement. It's a 27.8. Big Perry gets himself into 5th place. And Apex now down to P10. We've got Whitey on a lap. What can Whitey manage? Whitey's coming into the pits. He has invalidated. Ali is also coming into the pits. Who else is on a lap? So Apex. I think that might be... Oh no, we still have the Dark Mark. And Betches as well. So Betches and Dark Mark both coming out to see if they can worry or scare Dystopian and Apex. So Dystopian in a bit of danger there in P9, with two cars looking to try and make their way through to the final part of qualifying. Dark Mark through the S's. I love this broadcast view through the S's. Look at the change of direction. Through Dunlop he goes. Marcus currently second in the Drivers' Championship. Needs a good qualifying here. Sometimes leaves a bit of work to do in the race. But he'll be wanting a... oh, and just a little bit of a wobble there. He is pushing on this lap. Is Dark Mark. 1 minute 28.997 is the time to beat at the moment if you want to get a spot in the top 10 shootout. Heading up towards Spoon, number 13, unlucky for some. Can he keep it all facing in the right direction? Just a little kiss of the curb, but it's fine. Looking very strong so far from the Dark Mark. Let's see what his split is as he goes through the second sector. Oh, of course, this is his first lap. He won't have a split. So, Sniporius, welcome. That is a name I have not seen in a very long time. Still have PTSD from France. Hope you're good, Sniporius. Hope you are doing good. Dark Mark crosses the line and does a 28.736 to knock Apex out of qualifying. We still have Ransdal, Ewan, Whitey and Betches on laps. So Dark Mark through at the moment, but there is still danger coming behind him. Betches he goes through Sector 1. What kind of improvement can he find? He needs to find a big improvement. He's found half a second in the first sector alone. He is coming for the guys ahead of him. Up towards... oh, there's a lot of traffic coming up for Betches. They're all going to have to jump out of his way. Hopefully they do get out of his way. Stay on board with Betches as he tries to navigate this traffic. Oh, he's going to catch one at Spoon. Oh, this is going to be horrible. Oh no! Betches has caught traffic in the wrong part of the track. Oh dear. Now, did that affect him? We'll soon find out as he gets to the next point. He's still 7/10 up. There's still improvement from Betches. Now, it can't have helped. I have forgiven you, Sniporius. We let bygones be bygones, but if I ever see you in France again... Across the line then, Betches, he gets him up to P14, 9/10 of a second improvement, a 29.4 for Betches. What can Whitey, who else is on a lap? So Ewan is on a lap, Ransdal is on a lap. So I'm trying to focus on the guys that are further down, see what they can manage. Can they knock Dark Mark or Dystopian out? Dark Mark has retired from the session. He has not got enough time. Dystopian is on a lap now, so he has made it round just in time to try and help his cause. But we're going to stay with Whitey in the purple mobile. The purple and gold machine. Striking car. I do like Whitey's car. I'll have to try and pick my favourite at some point. Like I say, I quite like Raritron's. That's quite in your face, quite striking. But I like Whitey's as well. That's quite a cool one. Who else did I like? I can't remember now. So through the final chicane goes Whitey. He needs a big improvement around the final corner. I'm not sure he's done enough in the first two sectors. And no improvement there for Whitey. Betches has invalidated, so he's not going through. Ewan currently down on his time to the first two sectors. Needs to find a big chunk of time. I'm not sure this is going to be enough. Across the line goes Ewan. What can he manage? It's a 129.367, so improves by a small amount as Bacon Soda goes fastest. Ransdal is 1.1 seconds up in his time, and Ransdal puts himself P5. Dark Mark in danger. It's Dystopian versus Dark Mark for the final spot in Q3. Dystopian currently is doing enough to knock out the second place man in the championship. Who comes across the line? Here comes Dystopian. Can he get his car through to Q3? Yes, he can. Goes P9. Knocks out the Dark Mark, who misses out on a spot in Q3 by 3/100ths of a second. And that is Q2 done and dusted. TSD Woodsy with the Prime subscription. Thank you, Mr. Woodsy. I think I said this last week, a couple of weeks ago when people started doing that. I have no idea what that does to me. Thank you. I guess you stopped seeing adverts. So I believe if you close the stream down and reopen it back up, people can't see this, but I'm pointing with my hands. I'm doing actions while I say this, and I don't know why. But it stops the adverts. I also don't know why I've got adverts. I don't mess with the settings, but apparently I've been told I have adverts. So sorry if you see adverts. Hopefully the adverts are entertaining. I don't know what the adverts would be. Maybe it's an advert for condoms. Who knows? Anywho, there we have. So Baking Soda is fastest. He beats Revokes. Revokes improved as well. So Baking Soda beats Revokes by 1,000th of a second to take top spot in Q2. Danny then is just 500ths of a second behind Baking Soda, as is Hambo. Look at that. I tell you what, this is going to be one hell of a Q3 shootout if it's that close. Top four separated by 500ths of a second, half a tenth. Ransdal then is 5th fastest. Ollie Champ gets 6th ahead of Big Perry. Ali in 8th ahead of Dystopian. And then Atkins in P10. We lose then Dark Mark, who will start P11. TSD Apex, who will start 12th. Ewan will start 13th ahead of Betchers. And Whitey, who will start in P15. I should be getting paid. Check my account settings. It was a car advert. What car advert was it, Woodsy? I'm intrigued. What was the advert? Wait. Let's guess. I'm going to go with Ford. I think you've just seen a Ford advert. It looked like you're on a good lap there, Betches. I'm not sure if you got a bit of understeer behind that. Yeah, I think you closed in on someone at Spoon. But yeah, it's still a cracking effort. It's a fast, sweaty grid tonight. So, good effort. But we are in to the business end of qualifying. This is it. It's still bone dry. And we have got cars already starting to make their way out onto track. Who is going to be our first person? It is going to be Big Perry. Big Perry in that tri-coloured Triple Crown McLaren. Turn 1 ruined it, then lost a bit of time behind Ali. Oh, I've lost it in turn 1. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, when you lose a lot of time in sector 1, you're always playing catch, but then you feel like you're pushing a bit too hard to try and gain it back, and then of course more mistakes and more lockups happen. But yeah, Big Perry's going to be our first person to set a time then, so as long as he doesn't invalidate, he will be on provisional pole for a short period of time, as long as no one beats him. One of the new hybrid cars. Maybe it was a Prius. They're hybrids, aren't they? That's always the most famous Prius. Or a Renault. They're always advertising their new hybrid cars. or a Japanese car. Yeah, could have been a Honda. Well, it's Formula 1. It could well have been a Honda. So I guess now's the time where we can start asking for who people think, or which driver people think are going to be on pole. What's your top 3 for qualifying? What's your top 3 for the race? I mean, if Q2 is anything to go by, we're going to have a barnstorming shootout for pole here. 4 drivers separated by 500ths of a second at the end of Q2. With Bacon Soda, Danny, Revokes and Hambo. And my screen is just frozen. I have completely frozen. Huh. Get back into the game. What a game this is. What an amazing game. Codemasters, you have outdone yourselves with this update. I have not had any issues with a game crash or anything like that at all. They bring out an update that ruins the cars and I immediately get the game crashing. So let's try and get back into the lobby ASAP because I've just built up Q3 and then the game crashes. So yeah. Cheers, Codies. We're going to blame Codemasters. while we just stare at the beautiful faces of Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, and the GOAT, Sir Lewis Hamilton. So Betcher's gone for Danny, Bacon, or Revokes as the pole sitter. Well, hopefully I can get back in time. We can see who is the fastest. Yeah, that is perfect, Betchers. EA Sports, we ruined your game. You'll see on the bottom right hand corner of the stream there, might as well get a plug-in. That is the company I work for. I am that is Net Flights for any of your long haul travel. Any of your holiday needs, travelling to the likes of Dubai, Australia, America, Thailand, anywhere like that, you give Net Flights a call. We will sort you out. So we have Bacon Soda so far into the 26s for Bacon Soda. Great effort from Bacon Soda. We've got Danny and Atkins. Atkins, I think, is going to be the next person round. But yeah, Bacon Soda then on a 26.9. Revokes has done a 27.2, which is a 10th ahead of Hambo. Ali so far has done a 27.8 in P4 ahead of Ransdal by a 10th and a half. Then you got Big Perry who managed a 28.3, just 0.05 of a second quicker than Dystopian. We're currently on board, or currently watching Atkins, who is flying around at the moment as he heads towards the second sector split. Oh, he's well down his time actually, so I imagine he is not... He's made a mistake somewhere, I would guess. So who is coming through next? It will be Danny. So Danny, one of the tips for pole. Am I paid on commission? I manage the team, so I get paid on everybody else's commission. I tell them what to do. So across the line, so Danny does a 26.949, so half a tenth then separates Bacon and Danny. So already the Bacon-Danny battle continues. What's Ollie Champ managing as he is coming around, so he's well down his time. That's a nice looking car as well. I think I picked... Oh, there's some bollards in the wrong place of the track there. Yeah, the one-time Platypus, one-time Big Perry gets some screen time, and Cody's goes, nah, we don't want to see him. We do not want to see him on our screen. Let's crash the game so we can go and watch somebody else. Right, so that is first runs done and dusted. Bacon Soda then is currently your provisional pole man. What's a shame, Big Perry, is that you would have had your 5 seconds of fame with a provisional pole time being first around the track, and Codemasters have denied you a provisional pole on stream. No ABS. I thought you already know ABS, Bacon. Cracking effort. I can't do no ABS. I can't do no line. I can't even do no traction. But yeah, no ABS. That feels like the hardest of all the assists to get rid of because it just feels impossible. Like it literally feels impossible. Restart lobby. You want? Yeah, that you'd have to make sure you get out first on track again to make sure you get that provisional pole. But yeah, well, I'll do a lobby restart just so you, and then everyone has to wait just so you can do a lap time and get provisional pole. Right, so we'll go a quick run down there. So Bacon currently P1 ahead of Danny, Revokes P3 ahead of Hambo, Ali in P5 ahead of Ransdal, Big Perry P7 ahead of Dystopian, and then Ollie Champ and Atkins yet to set a time in Q3. So this is the lull, this is the calm before the storm. As they get ready. I've just seen that. You say you have not got the talent to get P1 on merit. I think you have the talent to get P1 on merit. Just not tonight. I think the P1 shootout is between the current top 4 based on Q2. And then you've got the battle for best of the rest from P5 down, which is Ali, Ransdal, yourself, Dystopian, Ollie and Atkins. Based on Q2 times alone, the top 4 appear to have a little bit of a gap. But anything can happen. Someone could absolutely bin it. Someone could crash. Someone could get disqualified. We saw that in Q1. Don't park your car in the S's, Mr. Scott. That is what we're saying to you. So who is going to blink first? They're all waiting for each other. They're all waiting for the last moment to get the absolute maximum track evolution. We have someone coming out. Who is going to be the first to bite? It is one of the fake McLarens. Of Big Perry. He wants the screen time. He wants that screen time. Here we go. We are going to give you your moment in the sun. Here we go. It's the outlap for Big Perry. We'll watch you on broadcast on your outlap just to see that Triple Crown McLaren in all its glory. Nobody else has made a move just yet. Oh, I tell a lie. A couple of cars are now making a move. That is Dystopian. I think Danny is on his way out. One of the black cars is on its way out as well. But we're going to stay with Big Perry. Betcher's hoping for that as well. Yeah, that's hopefully the top. Maybe the top four. I say hopefully. That's a horrible thing to say because I believe those four are going to have a cracking battle. But maybe one of these guys is going to go full Sergio Perez and just start yeeting cars off left, right, and centre like he did in Singapore. If my game crashes again, I am not going on board with Big Perry anymore because I will stop blaming Codemasters and I will start blaming the platypus for causing my game to crash. Exactly, Betches. Always think positive. If 13 guys in front of you crash out, you are in the podium position. You are in the prime position to win the Japanese Grand Prix here in Suzuka. Here we go then. We are on board with the mighty platypus. The animal that makes no sense. It's like a beaver with a duck's face. Back to racing. Here comes Big Perry. Round the first corner, hangs it out wide. Lovely first corner there actually. Keeps it close inside without touching that ice curb. Through the S as he goes, just misses to the apex on the right hand side, but keeps the momentum going. Looking very good so far from Big Perry. Coming up to Dunlop, car staying well out of the way. Good driving there from whoever that was. I don't know what car it was. Double right-hander then. Takes plenty of speed through there. This is looking mighty fine. Oh, and round he goes. Almost round he goes. And Big Perry, it was looking very promising. But he's lost the rear big time there. And that is a shame for Perry. He does have time, I think. Does he have time to get round and go? He may have time to get round and go again. So who is going to be next round? I think it's Dystopian is going to be our first person then round of the second runners. Dystopian, of course, as I mentioned before, very quick driver on his day. What can he manage here? Currently in 8th out of the 8 drivers that have set times, with Ollie Champ and Atkins still to set a time here in Suzuka. So Dystopian then lining up spoon curve. Flirts with the curb on the left hand side. It always makes me nervous, that curb. So time is up in qualifying. Whatever lap you're on now, this is the one that counts. Round the final corner he comes. Can Dystopian improve? He does and goes P5 with a 27.7. We've got Ollie Champ who's invalidated, so he comes into the pits at one hell of a rate of knots. Atkins then round the final corner. He comes. Can he move his car up the field? It's going to be a 28.5, so he is P9 so far. He will stay in P9 as Ollie Champ has not set a time. We've got Danny coming. Danny has invalidated. Danny cannot improve. And it's an angry Danny. Bacon Soda takes provisional pole with a 26.653. We've got Ali coming across the line. Can he manage a 27.5? Stays P5. We have Hambo and Lap. He's quarter of a second up at the moment. Can he get himself onto the front row of the grid? We've got Revokes who's finished on the 27.2. Hambo then is into the pits. He's not improving enough, not happy with his time. We have Big Perry, who did manage to get around again, but has invalidated. Bacon Soda then, he was the man that managed to hold it all together. He handled the pressure and came away with a 26.6. What a lap time from Bacon Soda that is. That's incredible. 26.6. This man is using no ABS for the first time. Really impressive stuff. Danny then, as we mentioned, invalidated. He stays in P2 on a 26.9. Revokes couldn't improve. He stays third on a 27.2. Hambo couldn't improve either. He stays... oh no, Ransdal. I missed Ransdal. So Ransdal, sorry, has just pipped Hambo. I do apologise, Ransdal. So Ransdal actually did pip Hambo. So Ransdal is P4. Hambo then, after he couldn't improve and had to pit, he stays P5, so goes down to P5. Ali then is P6, Dystopian P7, Big Perry P8, and Atkins P9, with Ollie Champ unable to set a lap time in Q3, is in P10. Yeah, well held. I thought you were going to completely yeet it into the wall. Yeah, well held. Look at you, naughty people. Naughty, naughty people. You're getting a speeding fine. Speeding fines all around. And I'll look at the platypus as well. Right, as per usual, there will be the 5-minute lull before the race begins. So I'll be back in a couple of moments. Okay, so a couple more moments and then they will be getting ready to go. It looks dry again, so these drivers are very lucky that they've got a dry Suzuka. Not a cloud in the sky, or not any rain clouds anyway. It looks like a couple of wispy clouds. Main overtaking opportunities here in Suzuka. Obviously, you've got your DRS towards turns 1 and 2. That's usually one of your main overtaking places here. And it's all about staying close as you head and follow the leader. If you're brave on the brakes, you can make a move into turn 11 at the hairpin. If you get a good run out of that double right-hander. But after that, it's the chicane at turns 16 and 17. We do see as well some people make that move around 130R. That's always very entertaining. If you can stay close after spoon, get in that slipstream if you've got lower wings, make that brave move around the outside of 130R, heading towards the chicane. The only downside to making a move at the very end of the lap is, of course, you give the car behind you DRS. Quick reminder then of the standings. So, of course, Bacon Soda stuck it on pole, current championship leader has a 19-point advantage over the Dark Mark at the top of the standings. Dark Mark started down in P11 after narrowly missing out by just a few hundredths of a second for a spot in Q3. Then in the Constructors' Championships, obviously you've got McLaren leading the way. Bacon Soda there pulling in a lot of points for the McLaren team. Quick reminder, of course, to make sure you tune into the official RRF1 channel on Wednesdays with the Gunners, where the Wednesday division will then take on Suzuka. And then, of course, Gunners will again stream your 100% realistic league around Suzuka on Saturday evening. That's for the big boys. That's for the people with big balls, as they say, who will take on the Japanese Grand Prix track full distance. And you'll be in realistic cars. So none of this equal stuff. If you're a quick driver and you're in a Haas, you ain't beating someone in a Mercedes unless you are, I don't know, Jarno Opmeer. Just waiting for them to ready up now, and then we'll be good to go. Interesting to see if they fix the start problem. I think 2 or 3 out of the last 4 races I've had, as soon as the race got underway, there was either a safety car or a VSC. So I'd like to think that they fixed that now. And here we go then. So formation lap underway. Tyres everyone's starting on. There you see it. So Bacon Soda has gone for the medium tyre to start this race. Sorry, the hard tyre. Can't read. Betcher's predicting a DNF for Betcher's. Be positive. Gotta think positive. So a quick look through the cars on the grid then. You can make your own decision on who has the sexiest car. Bacon Soda there in his Triple Crown McLaren. Danny in his red and black machine hunting down Bacon Soda. Revokes then in his... where's Revokes? Oh, there he is. He's in the black and red car. Ransdale, who managed to get himself into the top 4 ahead of Hambo in his blue and chrome car. Hambo, he has gone for a black and yellow design with a bit of red. Ali, a very funky looking car. That could actually be potentially one of my favourites, actually. That is a very cool looking car indeed. Yeah, Ali so far. Dystopian, again, nice looking car from Dystopian. That's sort of a navy blue design. Big Perry in the Triple Crown McLaren. Atkins has gone for... What car is Atkins in? grey, goldy, blacky colour. Ollie Champ in that sort of pale greeny black car. Dark Mark in his Alpine inspired car with the matte blue and the chrome and the sort of chrome pink. Apex in his bright green Hulkmobile. Ewan in his Williams livery along with oh, we've got two Williams starting side by side. Raritron, that's one of my other favourite ones. Scott starting towards the back. That's quite a funky looking car actually. And then Whitey as well. That's one of my favourites. But here we go then. We're not talking about who looks best. It's about who drives best. Who is the fastest? We'll keep it on the... Let's change it to positions gained. As they wait for the lights. As the great man says, look but never stare. Hold your nerve as it's 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. It's here in Suzuka and it's time to go. It's lights out and away we go. It's a good start from the front too. Looks like Danny's trying to make a move at the inside, but he gets covered off by Bacon Soda. And Revoke's trying to force it around the outside. No room at the end as Ransdal. And there's a incident towards the back. Big Perry looks to be round at the back somewhere on the infield. Apart from that, everyone else looks to have got through pretty clear. Atkins has dropped quite a few places, so maybe Atkins has had a moment or came together with Big Perry. Looks like everything is still intact. Hopefully he can make his way back up towards the back of the field. Dark Mark seems to have made a move on Ewan, so Dark Mark already up 2 places himself. Ewan up 3 places. Moving for the back. Betcher's looking for a move on Apex all over the rear end. He's going to try and go the long way round. No room at the end though, and Apex holds on to P11 for now. What can Betchers do as he rounds Spoon curve? Have we got anyone looking to make a move? Dystopian is looking pretty close to the back of Ali at the moment. In fact, Danny is all over the back here of Bacon, getting to within 1/10 of a second here. Can he make a move as we head towards turn 1? As Bacon gets a huge swap of oversteer. Here comes Danny, who needs to make this move pretty quickly because, of course, he's on the faster tyre. He's going to make a move around the outside of turn 1. Can't quite make the move done, and Bacon Soda holds on for one more lap at least on those hard compound of tyres. Yellow flag then. And who is that is around? That looks like potentially... It's Dystopian. Dystopian has had an issue in the S's. Round he's gone, and he's rejoined just in front of Scott. Down to P14 goes Dystopian. Such a shame for him. Meanwhile, Ewan is now right on the back of Dark Mark. Dark Mark already up to P7 after starting P11. Ewan also making great moves. These two working well as they make their way through the field. Position changes so far. There we have it. So Dark Mark and Ollie Champ both up 4. Ewan up 5. TSC Apex up 3. And Betcher's up 4. The big losers so far. Ali down 11 places. So Ali's made a mistake. So Ali has gone around somewhere. He's down to P17 now. Big Perry has managed to catch the back of this pack up, so Big Perry showing some good race pace. As we head back on board with Danny here, is he going to make a move into the chicane? Oh, I thought he was going to think about a late move there. Are we going to get a move this time into turn 1? Oh, he just gets a bit of a wheel spin himself there actually. These three have dropped Hambo and Ransdal behind. Bacon Soda sets the fastest lap of the race. And Danny closing in. He's not quite close enough to make a move, but he's all over the back. We head further back now. We've got Dystopian and Whitey. Whitey ahead of Dystopian, so no room there for him to make his way through. Whitey then into P13, but has run a little bit wide. They're going to... Oh, there's contact! There's contact. He ran a little bit wide into the S's. And there is contact. Scott's out of the race. Oh, there's carnage. Absolute carnage. I think Scott has hit the spinning car of Whitey. And he has had rotten luck here tonight. No fault of his own. He's hit a stranded car. Disqualified in Q1. We don't know what the issue was there. And he's hit a stranded car in the middle of the S's. And that's such a shame for Scott. We have a VSC well, VSC on my screen, but I can see a safety car making its way around Sector 1. So, who does that benefit the most? Let's go back onto tyres then and see what people are planning to do. So it's contact between Dystopian and Whitey. Obviously, we'll leave everything for the stewards here. I'm not going to say anything. It looked like he ran a little bit wide, then there was contact between the two of them, which sent Whitey round, and then Scott's obviously just been a passenger and just hit the stranded Whitey there, because Whitey appears to have come off scot-free there, actually. Maybe Scott's hit Ali, as Ali's tried to avoid Whitey then, maybe. Because Ali has no front wing. So I imagine we'll see Ali into the pits now. Safety car, of course, will help him. As Whitey carries around. So no damage for Whitey in all of that, so he can crack on with his race. So the safety car means he's not lost too much there, although he was running in P13. He's going to be in P15 now. And then Ali, who will be hoping to try and recover some ground. He had some good pace in qualifying. He's serving a 5-second penalty now, and then they'll change his wing, so he'll be well off the back of the pack. But of course, we're under safety car conditions, so he will be able to catch all of that time back up. Well, we can catch a little breather now, after a very chaotic start to this Japanese Grand Prix. So Ali went on to some fresh medium tyres. So he will have to pit again, but he is on fresh tyres. So quick rundown, there's a Bacon Soda leads on the hard tyres still, so this is... I'm not sure. I think this is working out quite well for Bacon. He's still in the lead, and when he pits, he's obviously going to be on the much faster tyre. But as we know, overtaking isn't the easiest thing around here. Ransdal has joined. Oh, sorry, Ransdal. I didn't know that you've been booted. I do apologise. I would have tried to get you back in. So Bacon Soda then leads. The safety car will be out for one more lap. Danny then currently running in P2 and Revokes in P3. So top three as you were. Hambo has got ahead of Ransdal. Ollie Champ up 4 places into P6. Dark Mark also up 4 places. Ewan up 5 places. He's in P8 after starting down in P13. Apex up 3 and Betches up 4. Atkins has dropped a couple of places. He's down to P11. Who's losing? Oh, Raritron is in the pit, so he's taking this opportunity to box for some new tyres. He's going to go onto a different strategy now. Let's see what tyres he goes on to. So he's going to some fresh medium tyres, so he will rejoin at the back of the field behind Ali now. So yeah, Dystopian down 5, Big Perry down 5. Like I said, don't know what happened at turn 1, but looks like he may have had some contact. Found himself facing the wrong way on the inside of turn 1. Whitey's, we know, had contact with Dystopian. He's currently in P14, up 3 places, of course, so he has still made some ground. But he'll be hoping to make a few more places. He'd had a pretty good start to the race, had Whitey. But yeah, it's a little bit of contact, sends him round in a spin, and that, of course, then set the tone for, or set the events, which led to Ali losing a front wing and Scott being absolutely a passenger and getting murdered. Through no fault of his own, unfortunately. So we don't know whose fault it was. I didn't catch the after effects of it all. Ali then is down 9 places after a couple of moments for himself, and Rara is down 1 place after opting to pit under this safety car. So we're going to do this restart on board with Danny. Now, as we mentioned before, he's on the stickier, the grippier medium tyres. Now he ideally needs to get past Bacon Soda. He doesn't want to be behind him. No sign of the safety car coming in yet. Safety car in now. Oh, and Danny almost into the back there of Bacon Soda. Quite a late call for safety car there, actually, considering it didn't really need to be. So, when will Bacon go? That is the question. He's going to slow it right down to make sure he gets the best exit out of the final corner, and he gets a good exit there. Oh, but then gets a bit of a tail happy swapper on, and Hambo is looking to see if he can make a move towards turn one. Not quite close enough to Revokes. Anyone else looking to make a move? I think Ewan is going to make a move on the inside of Dark Mark. No, not quite close enough. And Dark Mark runs out wide. Dark Mark is going to lose 2 places here as Apex is going to look to make a move round the outside of Dark Mark. Oh, and a little bit of contact. And Dark Mark is round. Dark Mark is round. He's going to drop to the back of the field. Our championship contender has contact with TSD Apex, and he finds himself at the back of the field now. Stewards may well be busy after this one, you feel, as Big Perry looks for a little sneaky move on Dystopian there. Oh, it looks to move the inside there. What an opportunistic move that would be. Big Perry looking for the move on Dystopian. Oh, and round it goes. Big Perry loses his rear and his front wing, and Big Perry is going to have to come and box for a brand new front wing and a new set of underpants. And we have a VSC for the damage. It was quite a big crash there. I'm surprised he didn't actually DNF with that one. That was quite a big hit into the wall. VSC is out. So let's go back on board with Danny, who is making sure he stays right on the gearbox of Bacon Soda. Danny making sure he stays right on the rear end of Bacon. And Ewan has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. The front two have shot off like a scolded cat here on the VSC restart. Already a second clear of Hambo. Now, can Danny do anything about Bacon? He gives them a little nudge from behind there. There's half a second between the two of them, but that has allowed Hambo to catch back up to the rear end. And what is going on now? Honestly, come on. Oh. So sick of this. Codemasters have made this so much worse. I barely have issues on this game. As soon as they do an update. Sorry guys about this. I'll be back with you as quickly as I can. If I miss an overtake for the lead, I swear to God. Oh, they bloody do. Really do. It's so frustrating. I never have issues on this game. Even with previous updates, I never have problems with it. And tonight, it's just been... Ugh. Second time. There have it. Whitey then, currently P15. So he's on fresh mediums. Let's see what else is going on. So Dystopian looks to have been passed by Ali there, from what I can see. Ollie Champ on the rear of Ransdell. Is he going to look for a move there? I don't think he's quite got the top speed to make that move. Oh, I thought Ali was going to have a little look there. Meanwhile, Hambo is on the rear end of Danny now as Ewan comes into the pits from P7. Oh, bit of a moment there for Danny. Just gets on that curve and just loosens the car up a little bit. Meanwhile, Ali has made a move on Apex, so Ali making moves up to P7 now. Darkmark has made the move on Atkins back up to P11, so he's working his way back through, but he's 7 seconds away from the field, from the rest of the pack now. Can Atkins stay with Darkmark? They're both on 8-lap-old medium tyres. Yeah, I've not known a game like this before. I mean, the last game had its bugs, but it was quite a fun, playable game. This game, honestly, I've not enjoyed this game. I'm not going to lie. Commentary's been good, apart from when it crashes. Atkins still following Darkmark around. These two are slowly starting to catch Dystopian ahead. Taking quite a big chunk out of him there, actually. Dystopian is behind Rara, who's found himself up to P9 on those fresher medium tyres. I wonder if that strategy will work out for him. Meanwhile, actually, let me go on to Revokes, because Revokes is sizing up a move on Ollie Champ here. Not quite close enough as we head into the chicane, but is he going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1? Oh, and a moment there for Ollie Champ. That's surely going to give Revokes a chance to take the position away, and Revokes is going to move back up into 4th place quite easily in the end, and Ransdal is close behind them as well. Ollie Champ's then down to P5 on those medium tyres. It looks like we're getting to the crossover point where the hards may be the better tyre now. As Raraton picks up a 3-second time penalty, currently running in P9. He's currently behind TSD Apex. What can Rara do about Apex in front of him? Runs a bit deep there though. He's going to have Dystopian catching him in a moment. These three just managed to keep Darkmark and Atkins at around about that 7-second mark behind, so they're not really able to make much of an impact. Oh, is Ollie using his TSD livery? It's quite a cool design, actually. I quite like it. Ooh, and up the inside goes Raratron. Almost gets the move done, but Apex holds on. Rara then all over the back. Oh, we're going to see our first move into 130R. I really hope we are. Rara then sizing up TSC Apex, 65% ERS for him, 9% for Apex. And that red flashing light will be music to Raratron's ears as they head through 130R. Apex is going to make a move on the outside of the chicane, gets the move done, and that's a nice move from Raratron, who takes P8 away from TSD Apex. But is Apex going to be able to come back with the help of DRS? Rara goes to the inside to cover, but here comes Dystopian. Dystopian as well. They're all trying to make a move. Dystopian around the outside, runs a bit wide. Brilliant stuff from these three. Dystopian then goes to the inside of the S's. Oh, and Apex runs a bit wide onto the grass. Meanwhile, in all of that, something has happened to Darkmark. Oh, he's into the pit, so Darkmark pitting onto the hard tyres. So that is a change of strategy for Darkmark. Great battle there from Rara, Dystopian and Apex. Brilliant stuff. The overspeed Dystopian had then was stunning. So yeah, Ollie Champ. So this is apparently his TSD livery. I quite like this. This is quite a cool livery for Ollie Champ. Meanwhile, Danny is hanging on to the rear end of Bacon Soda. 73% ERS. They've both got similar amounts of ERS. Top 4 all with plenty left. Hambo with the least. Darkmark going to the end, I would imagine so from this point. 16 laps on hards, I'd imagine he could do that. So Danny, what he needs to do here, he needs to stay within a few tenths as Darkmark picks up a 3-second time penalty. A good exit there from Danny. He's a little bit closer than he's been on previous laps here. Bacon is going to be burning that ERS as well. And Danny not going to be close enough to make a move. Hambo hanging on behind them as well. Just runs a little bit wide, but he'll be able to cut back through and get onto the power nice and early. Olichamp meanwhile just a couple of tenths back. In fact, Dystopian here making a move on Raratron. I thought he was going to make a move around the outside of turns 1 and 2, but couldn't quite get the move done. Brilliant race now. I've had a couple of incidents, so you stewards may have a bit to deal with. There's been a bit of contact here and there, but some of the racing has been sublime. And Betches is making a move. No, he's not, because some people are pitting. So Apex and Atkins are both pitting now to get off their tyres and go onto the hard compounder tyre. Whitey then currently in P13. He is behind Apex. So 13 for Whitey. Obviously, he had that incident earlier on. Let's go back up to the lead battle, because here we go again. Lap 12 of what's felt like a race-long battle so far for Bacon and Danny. Hambo watching on, seeing if there's anything he can do. Both these drivers still have 70% worth of ERS, and Danny getting ever closer, closer. He has a little think about it, but just comes off the power there. Not close to make a move. Oh, and Bacon has just clipped that curb, and that's going to put Danny right on the back of him here. Danny, this is the closest he's been. I said Bacon caught a bit of that curb. Which way is Danny going to go? He goes to the inside. Bacon squeezes him close to the wall, but he's through, and Danny finally takes the lead of the Suzuka Grand Prix here in Japan. Hambo hangs on behind in third place. What is happening behind here? I think Rara has had a moment. Oh, no, he's not. So Dystopian then still behind Rara, a few tenths of a second. Both these guys are going to have to pit again still. Yeah, I do think anyone that's pitting sort of around like 11, 12 for hard tyres, I imagine their plan will be to go to the end. A little bit wide there from Dystopian as he tries to close in on the rear end of Rara. Meanwhile, let's go on board with Hambo, because Hambo is now sizing up Bacon Soda. Doesn't appear to have the straight line speed that Bacon has. Oh, he's closing on him now, actually. Nothing to do there as Dystopian closes on the back of Raratron. Can they make a move into turn 1? Dystopian trying desperately to make that move on the car in front and get himself into P7 in this race. Not quite close enough. Good straight line speed from Rara there. 0.2 of a second. They are nose to tail. Let's go on board with Dark Mark. He looks for a move into the chicane. Not close enough, though. He has much. He has fresher tyres, but Whitey is on the mediums. This could be quite an interesting battle. He looks close enough to make a move here. Whitey looks to block off to the inside, not able to block him off, and through goes Atkins as well. Atkins going to look for a double move, possibly. Not quite close enough. Darkmark and Atkins both through on Whitey there. We have a yellow flag somewhere. What has happened ahead? The yellow flag's gone now. By the looks of it, that may well have been Dystopian. So something has happened with Dystopian, because he is now 9.8 seconds behind Raratron. So it looks like Dystopian has lost it through the S's. We'll go back onto the leading battle now, because they are coming up to the DRS section. A few gaps forming further behind, but these three are still nose to tail. And into the pit, so Hambo going for the undercut. He's seen how long some of these medium tyre runners have gone, and he has pulled the pin. This could be a race-winning call here for Hambo. If he can come out in clear air, he'll want to come out in front of Dystopian. it's almost imperative for a race to come out in front of Dystopian, actually. And I think he's going to. In fact, Dystopian's pitting. So that's going to be fine for him. Ewan then rounding, so he'll go ahead of Dystopian now into P9. I think Dystopian... Did he have a wing change? That was quite a long pit stop. Oops. Where is Dystopian coming out, actually? He is going to come out behind White. So Dystopian comes out in P15 there, so a bit of work to do for the purple machine. Is it purple? Or is it navy? The navy machine. Further back then, Danny has been passed by Bacon. So I missed that move, sorry. Focusing on some of the pit stops there. So Bacon Soda back into the lead of this race. So Bacon is not going to pit yet. Well, he might try to cover off Hambo, because Hambo pitted off the hard tyres, didn't he? Whereas Danny, I wonder if Danny's going to try and go to the softs. Could both of the front two try and go to the softs now? Because they both should get undercut by Hambo here. So they may need the better, faster tyres at the end. And yes, Bacon is responding to Hambo. So where is Hambo? Let's stay with Hambo, who has purpled the middle sector. He's absolutely flying on this lap. If he can come out ahead of Bacon Soda, then like I said, this could be a race-winning strategy for Hambo. Bacon Soda is on the move. I think Hambo's going to take the provisional lead of this race, and he does indeed. There is Bacon Soda, and Hambo has undercut Bacon. Ollie Champ, meanwhile, is looking to try and get around the outside and runs a little bit wide off the track there. Ollie Champ tried to go around Revokes there as he came out of the pits and just ran a bit too hot into turns 1 and 2, and wide he went. But Ollie Champ almost getting the move done there, but Revokes, imperative for his race, hangs on to P6. Now Hambo will want to try and catch and pass Rara as quickly as possible to get a car between himself and Bacon. Now the question is now, what does Danny do? He has lost the... He will come out in net P3 when he pits. But if he pits now, are the softs really going to last? I think he now has to hang that out a bit. I think he's now thinking he has to do medium soft. Let's go on board with him and see what he does. Hambo already closing up to the back of Rara. He's just a second behind. And yes, Danny is going to carry on. Let's have a look at the gap to the lead at the moment. So Hambo 18.8 seconds back from the leader at the moment. So we'll keep it on that and watch that gap as it comes down. Hambo, meanwhile, is closing up to the back of Rara quickly, but he's not going to be close enough on this lap. So this is going to give Bacon a chance to close. Hambo sets the fast lap race to the 29.9. Closing the back of him. In fact, it's catching very quickly. He has got past Rara, and that is so important for his race, because now Bacon is going to have to try and do the same thing. Hambo now just 18.1 seconds behind Danny. He is absolutely flying on these medium tyres. Now what can Bacon do? Can Bacon cruise up to the back of Rara and pass him as quickly as Hambo has done? 17.5 the gap between Danny and Hambo now. Is he going to make a move into the hairpin? Rara is going to guard the inside with his life. And there's no room at the inn. And Raratron hangs on to P4 for now. This is going to be frustrating Bacon Soda. He can't quite get past and runs a little bit wide. And Rara still holds on to P4. Let's go on board with Bacon Soda, because I think we're about to see a move at 130R. Here we go. Rara then. Is he going to hook the inside or the outside? Are we going to see that move at 130R? I don't think we are. He's not quite close enough at this stage. But here comes Bacon. Ollie Champ with a 3-second time penalty. Rara's going to hook the inside. Bacon will let him go at this point because he'll get the DRS coming around now. And Rara, some brilliant defending there from Raratron, and into the pits he goes. He has done Hambo a huge favour there. Danny is into the pits as well. So where is Danny going to come out? Danny is going to be behind Bacon Soda into P4. Ali now leads this race on 14-lap-old medium tyres. So the chase is on. Danny 3 seconds behind Bacon. Bacon 2 seconds behind Hambo. Hambo trying to hunt down Ali, who will most likely still have to pit again. Apex has got ahead of Rara after Rara has pit for fresh soft tyres. Rara has now got the chase on to try and close on Dark Mark, who's trying to recover after his incident with Apex earlier on. This race is far from over with 10 laps to go. Hambo on in net P1, but on the oldest tyres of the three. Danny, who was in the lead at one point, is down to a net P3, P4 on track, but on the freshest, softest tyre. This is going to get spicy. A few gaps have started to open up. We've got Dystopian, who is who just nearly lost the rear end there, actually. So stay with Rara, because he is going to catch up to the back of Darkmark quite quickly, who is desperately trying to get into the DRS of Atkins to try and protect that P11 he currently has. Hambo 5.5 seconds behind Ali. Bacon has got that gap down by half a second on this lap. It's 1.6, 1.7 seconds between Hambo and Bacon Soda now. And Hambo is in the lead of this race as Ali jumps into the pits. So it is now a straight fight for the win between the top three. A complete reversal of strategy. Danny has gone for the medium soft. The front two went for a hard medium. Danny now 2.6 seconds behind. They're all going to start catching each other here. It's almost like the real-life Singapore Grand Prix, this. But not. It's trying to hype it up there. Ransdal, meanwhile, is just a few tenths of a second behind Ollie Champ, all over the back of him. No room at the inn, as they say. Raratron, though, meanwhile, is trying to make a move on Darkmark here in the S's. That would be quite a move he could have done here. He's going to try and look for any room. Possibly goes to the inside of Dunlop. This would be pretty impressive if he gets this one done. He has got it done. Darkmark tries to hang it in there, and Raratron gets the move done. What a move from Raratron there. Stunning stuff. Absolute balls of steel to go around the inside of Dunlop and then through the Degners. Brilliant stuff. Great racing from these two. Great respect as well on track. That's going to be one for the camera books afterwards. Dystopian now meanwhile lining up Darkmark. Darkmark, the race has not gone to plan for him. It's not been a race he's going to remember fondly. Oh, Wilco, this is going to be one hell of an end to the race. They're all closing on each other at a rapid rate of knots. Danny, for me at the moment, if he can clear Bacon Soda quickly, is in the driving seat. But if he can't, then I wouldn't want to say, and Dystopian and Darkmark. Was there contact through 130R? Of course they're going to try and go side by side through 130R. This race has set on fire. Some brilliant battling and racing. They've all got DRS in a bit of a train, but they are making moves left, right and centre. It's great stuff from RRF1's Monday Division once again. Danny, though, has caught up to the back of Bacon Soda. Hambo has a 1.3 second advantage, 1.2 seconds now over Bacon. It keeps flirting around 1.2, 1.4. Bacon is trying desperately to close that gap. He needs that DRS for Hambo. Yeah, Hambo's got to hang on. Sorry, Bacon's got to hang on. When Danny makes the move, if he makes that move, he has got to hang on. Here comes Danny. They've both... Bacon Soda is out. The front two are out of ERS, whereas Danny still has half of his battery left. He is in the driving seat here in Japan. What can he do against Bacon Soda? He's passed him once already into turn one and been repassed a couple of laps later. He's got the fresher, grippier tyres, but he has to use them now. Is he going to be able to make the move? He sees the red light flashing of Bacon Soda. Bacon Soda can do nothing about it. Through goes Danny into P2, and he can now go hunting after Hambo. Well, we'll catch our breath as these three make their way around. Ollie Champ is currently in P6 with Ali hunting him down on soft tyres himself. What can Ali do? I think I'm going to give Ali the livery of the Grand Prix. I really like that livery. That is a cool livery. Sorry, Rara. I did like Rara's as well and Whitey's, but I've got to say I quite like that livery. It's almost like it just looks funky, doesn't it? Meanwhile, Whitey is now pitted in the purple mobile. So Betches moves up to P14. Betches did predict a DNF for himself, but he's still going in P14. There's still 6.5 laps to go, and there's a move there. He went for it, and a little bit forceful there from Ali, but he gets the move done in the hairpin, takes advantage of those grippier tyres, and pulls away on the exit. Little bit rough and tumble there, but Ali gets the move done. P6 for Ali. As we move further forward, make sure we don't miss this battle for the lead. Hambo currently has the lead. He has no ERS left. Danny has 35%. He's going to go for the lead here into turn 1. Hambo has nothing to fight with. Through goes Danny, and now it's imperative for Hambo and Bacon, if they want any chance of coming back in the last couple of laps, that they hang on to the rear end of Danny like there's no tomorrow, because they need to be in his DRS when the soft tyres start to go off. Ali has just made a move on Ransdal as well while we're watching this. So Ali now up to P5 on those soft tyres. Soft tyres coming alive here in Japan. So top 3 have reversed their positions. So Bacon Soda now in P3, Hambo in P2. Can Danny drop Hambo? That is the question. Let me just go back into this battle because Atkins is looking very racy indeed. Behind Rara, who is looking to make another move here at Dunlop. Is he going to do it again, just like he did on Darkmark? He looked at it, didn't he? But not quite close enough on this occasion. He's right on the back of him. Brilliant racing from Monday's division again. Absolutely stunning stuff. Oh, and he goes for the move. Is he going to make it into the hairpin? I thought he was going to go for it. Not quite. Oh, and he goes for the move up the brilliant move there. Catches him unawares. And Raratron gets the move done on Ewan, who's now going to have to go on the defensive from Atkins. In fact, Ewan is actually coming back at Rara here. Oh, not into Spoon, surely. Oh, that would have been... Oh, I know I should be watching the front 3, but these guys are producing some incredible racing. Now, has Ewan got the pace to come back at Rara? It looks like he's got better top end speed. Is he going to make a move into the hairpin? He's going to have a think about it. Pressed the wrong button on the wrong way on the toggle then, so I actually stopped looking. Stopped looking at the battle. And into the pits comes Ewan off those 21 lap old hard tyres. Great stuff there from Ewan to be battling on those old tyres. And here comes Dystopian and the Darkmark. Dystopian and Atkins, sorry. Darkmark a bit further back. Potential driver of the day there for Rara. Yeah, you are right. He's had a brilliant race. Some of them, I mean, the move he pulled off on Darkmark. That man's balls. They must be as big as flipping Tyson Fury. I mean, yeah, to have trust in the other driver like he did as well. Clearly those two know each other quite well. Let's go up to the front then, because Hambo has dropped out of DRS of Danny. So Bacon is now going to try and make a move on him, because he does not want Danny to get too far up the road to leave too much to do at the end. Red lights flashing on those two. Is Bacon going to be able to make a move? I think he's going to get this one done pretty comfortably, and into P2 he goes. I think it might be quite smart for Hambo to just sit behind Bacon here. It looks like Bacon has a little bit more race pace, and see if Bacon can pull him back towards Danny for a grandstand finish. Meanwhile, Dystopian looking for a move on Atkins as they head around 130 on into the chicane, but not quite close enough. Rara has not managed to pull a second on these two, so Atkins will get the benefit of DRS still. Hambo staying close to Bacon, 0.3 of a second behind, and watching that gap at the front, but we do not want to leave this battle here, because Rara, as we get towards the end of this race, his tyres are going to go off a lot quicker, and Dystopian, you feel, will be the quicker of these three cars, but he is at the back of this train, and we know how well Rara can defend, so they are going to have to earn it if they want this. It's not going to be an easy pass on Rara. Got to keep an eye on that gap between Bacon and Hambo, because Hambo is closing the gap on Bacon Soda as they head towards the chicane. Yeah, let's go on board then with Hambo. Doesn't like he's had a very good exit out of the final corner though. I know he's just going to hang on behind, I think. Let's go back to Atkins and Dystopian, because they are all over the back of Raritron now. These are your two battles on track. Your battle for P8 and your battle for P2. That could become a battle for the lead if those soft tyres of Danny start to go off in the last 2.5 laps. Rara's going to have to start going defensive. It looks like he might be starting to struggle on those soft tyres after initially having the advantage and pulling off some great moves. He is now beginning to struggle. Here comes Dystopian. Is he going to have... He had some great overspeed earlier on. Atkins, though, closing on Rara. Rara goes defensive to the inside. Round the outside he goes. And it's a great move from Atkins. The camera shot almost peeled away from me there. Atkins, I tell you what, there's been some incredible moves tonight. Right around the outside of turn 1. And Atkins then up to P8 ahead of Rara, and Dystopian will be next on the attack. Danny has made that lead up to 2 seconds. He is getting the most out of those soft tyres. It's been a really well driven race from Danny at the front. Really intelligent driving. He's kept hold of his DRS, he's kept his tyres intact, and he's keeping those soft tyres intact, and it's a 2-second advantage. Danny, Bacon and Hambo are your top 3, but and a sliding moment there for Dystopian. Meanwhile, Dark Mark is slowly starting to close on these guys. Could we have a grandstand finish? Hambo, meanwhile, as the front 3 cross the line, it's still 2 seconds. I don't think they're going to be able to catch Danny in the final 2 laps. And round the outside goes... Whoa, surely not. Round the outside of Spoon. I am starting to be lost for words here. This is just getting plain insane. Guys, chill your beans. And Apex has gone. Apex has crashed. Apex is out of this race. 5-second penalty for Betches for causing a collision as well. So I'm not sure if something has happened there. But Dystopian has just gone around the outside of Rara on the second part of Spoon Curve. And he's sizing up Atkins. And he had to think about it. There's 2 laps to go for these guys. Hambo is trying to size up Bacon to see if he can nick P2 at the end. I will go on to those 2 as they head towards the final bit of the lap. So let's go on board with Hambo. These 2 have not been able to keep the pace with Danny. Danny has just pulled off into the distance, and Hambo not the best exit on Spoon, and he's dropped back from Bacon Soda. They're going to be 1 lap to go. Oh, who is that I just saw spinning? I swore I just saw someone spinning there. Nope, maybe not. White picks up a 3-second time penalty, running in P13. Dark Mark just 2.3 seconds behind this battle now. Dystopian is sizing up Atkins. Is he going to make another bold move here at Spoon? Okay, so Apex crashed into the spinning Betches. That's the second time this race someone's crashed into a spun car, unfortunately. It's not the widest of tracks. They're going to side by side through 130 off. Through he goes. And Dystopian pulls off another great move to go up the inside of Atkins now. Into the chicane they go. Are they going to be able to come back? Rara is going to have DRS on them both here, but it doesn't look like he has the tyres to fight with it. Here comes Atkins then. Is he going to be able to fight back? Hambo, meanwhile, is all over the back of Bacon Soda on the final lap. Not quite close enough then for Atkins. Let's go back up to Hambo on the final lap here in Suzuka. Who's going to come out on top in P2? We've got a yellow flag somewhere. I think there might just be someone getting out of the way, perhaps. With a wide moment there for Bacon Soda. Let's go on board with Hambo. It's the final shootout. Here we go. It's 0.4 of a second between the 2 of them. Hambo closing. Is it going to be enough? Ransdall has got ahead of Revoke. Something has happened to Revoke's there. He's down to P6. Hambo's not going to be close enough. Let's go on board with the winner then. Here in Suzuka. It's a brilliant drive from Danny. Bacon Soda is going to finish just ahead of Hambo by 0.1 of a second. Ali is going to come home in P4. Brilliant recovery drive from Ali, I've got to say. One of my drivers of the day. He's had a great recovery drive and he has the best livery. Ransdal is going to come home in P5. Ollie Champ in his TSD livery in P6. And Revokes. Yeah, so Revokes that fuel. Okay, it's quite a fuel guzzler, Suzuka. So yes, so Revokes. Is he going to be able to hang on? He does indeed. So P7, Dystopian P8 with some brilliant moves. But Atkins gets on penalty countback. Rara finishes P10. These three put on one hell of a show. Dark Mark, maybe a race to forget for one of the championship contenders. But as a true champion, he kept on going right to the end. Ewan then finishes in P12 with a lovely little spin across the line. Whitey then, again, this is what we like to see. The race hasn't gone to plan for Whitey. He did have contact earlier on. He's kept on going. He's going to finish in P13 in another one of my favourite liveries on the grid, purple and gold. I do like that. That's quite a nice one. Cross the line he comes for P13. Betches then finishes in P14 and a lap down. What a race. What else can we say about that? Suzuka, I said at the start, one of my favourite tracks on the calendar, both in real life and in the virtual world. No rain in the Grand Prix, and it's produced an absolute stunner. Once again, Danny wins in RRF1. What a welcome he has had into this Monday division. He has been one of the forces to be reckoned with, and Bacon couldn't stop him today. He outthought and outraced Bacon and Hambo and comes away with the victory. We're going to try and get some of these guys in for a podium interview. The last time I was doing this, I couldn't do it because I had to shoot off. So we'll see if any of these guys are up for a chatty boo. Meanwhile, we'll do a quick rundown then. So Danny gets your victory and the fastest lap, so he gets the bonus points as well. Bacon gets P2 ahead of Hambo, so that is your podium. Ali in P4 ahead of Ransdal, Ollie, Revokes, Atkins, Dystopian. Raratron rounds out the top 10. Dark Mark, Ewan, Whitey and Betches with Apex, Big Perry and Scott as your non-finishers. My drive of the day. Oh, it's a tough one. Hambo had a great drive. I thought Dystopian pulled off some great moves. Rara pulled off some great moves to go from P15 to P10. Ali had a great recovery drive. I'm going to go with Ali just ahead of Rara, just because he ended up with no penalties. As my drive of the day. I think he had a great recovery drive. Really stunning stuff. But you could have picked anyone. Move of the day. I mean, there were so many impressive overtakes today. I kind of want to say Rara's on Dark Mark. You know, going up the inside of Dunlop and then the outside of the first of the Degners. Yeah. Alright, let's get a few of these guys in then. So we'll do... Okay, we'll see if any of these guys fancy a little chat with Massey. With Uncle Massey. We'll see if any of them... Danny has joined the party. Let's wait to see if anyone else joins. Might just change the stream so we're not just staring at the list. Let's get the Suzuka track map back on. So who have we got in the party? So we've got our race winner Danny in the party. We'll have a quick chat with Danny. I've sent Hambo and Bacon Soda a little invite as well. Let me just make sure that I've got... 1 second. Where's my stream? Box to include.
Yeah, it does.
Ah, perfect. Okay, that's fine. I've done things right, which is a first. So we'll start off with our third place man, Mr. Hambo. Any one of you three could have won this at any given moment in that race, and at one point I thought you'd pulled off the big brain Carlos Sainz strategy with the undercut, but it wasn't meant to be. How was that race for you?
Yeah, it was pretty hard to say. Like, Bacon is just
was his first race without ABS. It was the same with me. I kept fucking locking up mega on just random corners, but it was mainly just trying to stay on track with that. When Danny got ahead, I wasn't too bothered. I just wanted to finish.
Well, that's always a good aim, is to finish the Grand Prix. We know you've had your moments in the past, sir, but you three provided quite the entertainment. Stunning drive, and like I said, any one of you three could have won that at any given moment, and you were just the pace you guys were running at. I mean, you must have been flat out for the whole race. I have no idea where we are next week. If someone in the chat wants to tell me, so I'll come back and ask you how you feel about next week's race when someone tells me. We'll move on to P2. Well, I mean, Suzuka is one of the best tracks on the grid. It's a driver's track, and you guys proved you're good drivers, so you should be positively joyed about Suzuka. Mr. Bacon, again, one of the three drivers. It wasn't really clear who was going to win that race until the final 4 or 5 laps. You led the whole first half of the stint. It looked like you were in the driving seat until I realised Danny was doing a medium soft.
Yep.
How was that for you?
Yeah, it was a fun race, to be fair. It was one of the most fun races I've had in a while, to be fair. It was like quite nice and clean. I was just trying to keep Danny behind on the first thing. I thought he was going to go to the hard, and then when I realised he was staying, I was like, well. I tried to undercut him, but I got held up by, I think it was RRF1, like 2 seconds, and then Danny was not far behind, and it was just easy for him to catch up. Yeah, and then as Hambo was saying, I was just trying to avoid not locking up and nearly dying, so yeah, it was a nice race other than that.
Yeah, we caught that Raritan moment on stream. Hambo caught Rara at the perfect moment and managed to pass him into turn 1, and you caught him at exactly the wrong moment.
Yeah.
And you were stuck behind him for half a lap, and yeah, it cost you quite a bit of time there. But still a brilliant drive. It was, I mean, I think I enjoyed that more than actual racing in it. But that's not hard to say with Codemasters these days. So yeah, cracking drive from you. And we move on to our race victor. 3rd time you've won a race I've streamed, Mr. Danny. I feel like I'm your good luck charm.
Yeah, you are. So maybe you should commentate on my races.
Yeah.
Might be party at some point.
I called it a big brain strategy when I realised you were doing medium soft. And then you kept your tyres alive, you kept your ERS, and it was just a really smart, fast drive. How was that for you?
Yeah, I had a race like 4 weeks ago around Suzuka, and I did a medium soft there as well without any safety cars or virtual safety cars. Obviously, that was a bit harder than today because we had a safety car. But yeah, I knew in that race that the soft doesn't really die. Like, it always keeps a very good grip in sector 1, and so I was just going for the same stop, and yeah, it worked really great. I mean, on the soft fresh, I could catch them very easily. On the medium that already had like 20-25%. Was not much work there, but yeah, I think the biggest problem was rather like the feedback settings that got reset. Because like after lap 7, my controller was about to explode, like my hands, and like for the rest of the race, I was running with like numb hands and didn't feel any feedback from my hands. It actually hurt so bad. So yeah, I mean, it was more like keeping it on track. Made a few mistakes in sector 1, which were really annoying, but like I said, feedback was just horrible. Like, my controller was vibrating like constantly, even though I was just going down the straight. In the corner, it was even worse. But yeah, it was a fun race. I mean, actually, I had quite close pace with everyone. So yeah, made for some good racing.
Yeah, cracking drive again.
Next
week, I've just been told.
Yeah,
that was how it
not
goes.
happening. Not happening on Pat. Nah, fuck that.
Bacon, I think we should turn it
The
back
assist war continues.
You are?
Yeah.
Tune in next week for assist war.
I think we should turn it back on.
Yeah, do
that. Moving on to next week, I've just been told. So it is Austria next week, and it is a sprint week. So we'll start with you, Mr. Hamber. What do you think of Austria, and do you like sprint weekends?
The sprint is normally a fucking survival because everyone just wants to get as far as they can. In Austria, I don't think I've ever done well at Austria, so that's going to be good.
positive words there from our third place man. So
Yeah, it should be.
hopefully it
18th
goes
place.
better for you. Mr. Bacon, I imagine you're a fan of Austria?
I don't mind Austria. It's quite a nice track. Good for racing, I think. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But sprint, yeah, it's literally my worst nightmare. Everyone drives like it's the last lap of a world championship, and it's just like so bad. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Oh, no, sorry, next week.
It's like a mix
So
of
survival for the first.
10 Latifis and 10 Verstappens on the grid.
Yeah,
It's
count me out,
fucking
thank you.
carnage.
PTSD just thinking of those two names. Moving on to Danny. Austria next week in a sprint race. How are you with Austria?
I hate Austria. I think it's one of the most boring tracks to race on because it's just a DRS train. Like, I think on every Austria race I fell asleep after lap 3 because DRS was open and I had to do nothing for the rest of the race. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Austria. So yeah.
Well, some positive vibes there. I think Bacon's the only one looking forward to it by the sounds of it. So hopefully, and everyone's just looking for survival in the sprint. It's been a cracking race here in Suzuka for the Monday Night Division. Some incredible battling. I have to give a big shout out to Dystopian, Atkins and Rara because their battle was just absolutely insane. Some of the moves at some of the parts of the track were just out of this world. And like I said, my driver of the day for his comeback drive was Ali. Brilliant drive from him. So thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week for Austria, and of course you've got Wednesday night with the Gunners for the Wednesday division around Suzuka, and then of course you've got your 100% realistic race on Saturday. So thanks again, and adios.